You know why I pulled you over today? Hey everybody, welcome back to Steve's Garage. Today we are working on the Ford Model 48. This is video one of probably 45 to 100. Hey, another beautiful day here in Western Mass. It is a week before Thanksgiving, November 2024. So I've talked about this Model 48. I'm finally biting the bullet. It took me a while to get rid of my cars this year. I had to get a couple out of here. We don't want to be cutting, grinding, and priming with the cars in your shop because you'll just ruin them. Even if you have plastic on them, somehow it creeps under there. So let's talk about this Model 48. This is a Ford 1935 Model 48. And I want to give you a little bit of history. These cars, it's called the Model 48. And this is the deluxe model, which has four-seater, two-door. It has a 221 cubic inch engine. The engine is 85 horsepower. I can show you that right there, but we'll be getting more into that as time goes on here. This car is all original. What you see is what you get. This car came out of Texas. So it's pretty clean. I haven't touched this car since I got it. This sat outside for the past few years, and I was building other projects. So I couldn't wait to get to it, but I promised myself when I got into building cars that I would do one project at a time and finish it, because I've been into a lot of my friends' shops or other people's shops. They have multiple projects going. I think a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. And, you know, this one needs that, that one needs this, or I just feel if you bring each project to completion, you feel better about starting your next project. And then you can move the cars. If you start it up, get it the hell out of here, pull your next one in and start working on it. So it's my personal belief, you can do what you want, but it's just what I'd like to do. And I'm happy I've done it so far that way. Those of you who are new watching this, go to my channel, please like and subscribe. We have almost 1,000 people watching now, and I have like 250 videos out there between the regular videos and shorts. There's a lot of stuff from the old days. Just check it out. Fun stuff. See what we've done. So in 1935, this Model 48, they made 820,000 of them. This is not a popular car now. You know, some people will say, boy, you shouldn't cut it up. You shouldn't do this, shouldn't do that. Well, a couple things. Number one, my car, my choice, and we'll see what happens. But they're not really in any type of demand. These things, nobody wants these cars. You know, it has the humpback on the back here. And you look at them, I've seen 100 of them on eBay for sale, and nobody wants them. Nobody buys them. The guys put a lot of money into them to keep them original, and I'm not really concerned about that. So, you know, it's kind of cool, but it's a little lumpy, a little hokey. We're going to create it, turn it into something different. Now you can see my buddy in there. Just got done from Halloween. He's a little hungover, so let's keep going. So we've got this car. I looked up this morning. I looked up about all these details on this car just so we could have some fun. The top, so it's a 1935 Model 48. 820,000 of these were sold. You know, it's been a popular family car because it's, you know, four-seater. You probably get 5 people in here. It had bucket seats, actually, which we'll show you. And we're going to take all that shit out and show you what's going on inside. This top speed was 61 miles per hour, and that's what Ford said, not 60, 61. So they got the extra mile per hour out of it. It went 0 to 50 in 22 seconds. Not like the guys doing 100 and a quarter mile these days. So 0 to 50 in 22 seconds. So back in 1935, that was probably lightning speed for these guys. You know, it's like, woohoo, we're flying. Surprisingly, this engine, which is Like I said, it's 221 cubic inches and it's 85 horsepower. Got 33.2 miles to the gallon. I find that amazing that these things got 33.2 miles because, you know, those Stromberg 97 carburetors in them, they piss through a lot of fuel, at least the way I drive it. So 33.2 miles to the gallon. That's pretty cool. Now, the car only weighed 2,010 pounds. So maybe that's why I got 33 miles to the gallon, because it weighs like 2 Harley Davidsons. It doesn't weigh much. Brand new. If you wanted this car off the showroom floor, you had to pay $655 in 1935. I should have looked up how much $655 would be worth now, but I think it runs somewhere around $18, $19 on the dollar from that era to now. So let's say $20. So today, it's only be like a $14,000 car, so not a big deal. The wheelbase is 112 inches. It's a short car. That's the same wheelbase as a Model A. This is body on frame. They used a simple stamped steel frame. Mechanical brakes with drum brakes, but they're mechanical. Everything runs on rods. There's no hydraulics in here like what you're driving now. Has a hydraulic cylinder in there. You hit the brakes and that puts pumps the fluid into your wheel cylinders and expands your brake shoes, so you have a lot more braking action. These, it's all basically your power pushing levers, and they stop, but I don't know if you're skidding to a stop. So mechanical drum brakes, and they weigh 2,010 pounds. I bet you these were a great car. They probably went forever. Here's one here still. But what I want to do to it is make it into a coupe. Now, what I've done here, and that those of you who follow along have seen these photos before, but this is a picture of it when I was sitting in Texas. And all I did was cut that picture up. I made a couple copies, cut that picture up, and slid the roof line. And there it is in the form of a coupe, which I think it looks pretty damn good like that. And I think it'll be a pretty simplistic build. The only thing I got to get right is that window size. And I was working with my tape measure and stuff earlier, and I would just have to mess around with that length. I don't know what it really is without messing with it. So this is another picture I got off the net, and red. Everyone loves red, and it has the spare tire on the trunk, which I've got. So we can use that when we build this thing, and put that spare tire on there. So all this has to be, cut off, gone. Don't worry about the tape lines, those stuff I was screwing around with before. Then chop the top, slide it forward. And I don't know if I'm coming down with the height of it at all yet, because I think I need to see what it will look like. What am I trying to say? See what it looks like when I drag this roof line forward, then see if I want to take the top down at all. Main thing is I want to make sure I fit in it. I'm 6'4", and I got height restrictions. So let's take a look at it. Like I said, this is the way it came from Texas. All right, out of the car. Stop resisting. Get the tasers out. Old Scully. Take a seat over here. Relax. All right, so I want to make sure we got the camera set up so I'm not blocking the view the entire time or messing around here. So these are the seats that came with it originally. Of course, somebody did a hokey some type of upholstery job here. They took some kind of a plastic. It's horrible. I don't know if it was actually upholstery or looks like it might have been, but still got the springs and all that. I mean, needs some work, but we'll do something with it. I'm going to pull these around, get them out of our way. And like I said, I haven't touched it since, so this is the way it showed up from Texas. And the guy who delivered it, a great guy, drove it all the way up here from there, on a trailer, obviously. And it was dragging. It wouldn't roll on its own out of the trailer. So I took my tractor and dragged it in. And then once I got it inside here, I found out that the rear brake was hung up. So as you can see here, I've got the rear brake shoes off, which are actually, if you look at them, there's a lot of meat on there. So they were replaced at some point, of course. But I've got some parts in here. These are the old springs and adjuster. And I will, obviously, this is all going to be replaced. The other cool thing is all these old parts, no problem getting them. Somebody, they remanufactured all this stuff, so you can get all the spring kits and adjusters and all that for the brakes readily available. Here's the rear seat spring. We won't be using that. If somebody's looking for a rear seat spring, give me a buzz. Otherwise, it may wind up in the old filing cabinet. Trash. There's sides to the seats. How bizarre. The old beaver board or something they covered with that plastic upholstery. Junk. This is the battery pan cover. So that's right on the bottom floor here. I can show you. Battery pan cover goes over here. The battery cover. This is the pan for it. So the other thing about when you redo this stuff, going to relocate the battery to the trunk and make it more modern, convenient for what we're doing these days. There's some side panel or something going on. Yeah, I got one over here too. Old junk. Old junk. I have to figure out how to get these rollers off. Windows still work, kind of. A lot of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to working with you guys on this one. I think it's going to be a fun project. I think we're all going to learn a little as we go. Let me take and vacuum this thing out. And we'll take a look at the pan, see what we got. I hope you're all working on your projects. Enjoying the weather. I tell you, up here in New England, it has been warm and dry. I'm sure if you watch the national weather, you're seeing that we're in a hell of a drought here. It's been horrible. We had a lot of wildfires. We never have wildfires up here. So, a lot going on there. Who knows how they start? Got to be people maybe throwing a cigarette out the window or something. I got 3 cords over here, so I don't know if I plugged the right one in. All right, there you have it. So, inside, it looks pretty darn good. You know, still nice solid floor. Coming from old Texas. Deep down deep in the heart of Texas. Sorry for the spin there. Didn't want to make you dizzy. I'm going to put this battery. I think I still have some juice in it. take this off though. I'm gonna get a wrench and take that off. I'm gonna pause you for a second. All right, so I hooked this battery up, and strangely enough, the freaking lights came on. I'm gonna show you that the light switch still works, which I didn't think any of this stuff would work. So there's high beam, low beam. I wonder if they're both on. Yeah, they're both on. Let's try high beam again. So high beam only works on one light, but that's kind of cool. So that means that switch still works in the steering wheel. That's good news. Okay, lights are off. So now I'm going to hit the starter button. This is a positive ground, so we know that it's hooked up. Well, as we know, if it turns, it burns, right, Ed? So there it is. So the motor spins. I haven't even touched anything. Like I said, this is the first time I've touched it. So, you know, probably no spark. I don't know if there's spark or not, but the generator is not hooked up. All these wires are loose. The carburetor doesn't turn. I've got to take this one off and either try to rebuild it or put another carburetor on. I'm sure I'll just put another one on. And actually have another carburetor somewhere. So we'll go with that. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to disconnect this battery because I don't want anything crazy to happen. That is awesome. Well, good news so far. So let's take a look at the body. All right. Well, as I said before, to get the look here, I made a little pattern here. So work with me here. So if you can see that, see how I put the yellow tape to kind of, you know, mimic what we're going to shoot for here. But that's the one I drew, or you know, cut the photos up. But you look at the actual roasters, the roof is really narrow. And that's got to be because the door, right, was so much narrower, where the door on this, you know, is long because it was a a four-seater. Try to get a better, keep us in perspective here. So the only thing I'm concerned about is maybe that this window is too big at this point. By the time we move all this up here, this is like 18 inches That puts this roof line way back here. So, I mean, the sideline is like 16 inches. So that curve is like right here. I think I'm going to make this a little shorter. See what we got. So if we went like 4 inches, something like that, cut that up. Left-handed scissors, see that? My wife got me those for Christmas one year. God bless her. God bless us, everyone. So now, having a hell of a time here. Come on. Hold on, we need some tape. So what do we think of that? The window's smaller in the back. Still a little bigger on my plan, but it's smaller like the actual coupes. You know what I'm saying? You know, that here to me looks more in perspective with that. And then if we take this number again, puts our roof line up here about an inch closer than that. Somewhere in there. This is how you do it, guys. You know what I mean? You mess around. You mess around. I think that might be more in perspective of what we're looking at. What am I missing? Something's weird. The window. Yeah, that's the window. So I think what I'm going to do is probably not cut all of it in one shot. So if I want to get this here, I've got to move 21 inches. So I'd have to take from here to like here, out of the roof all the way across. You with me? So I've got to take that line. I'm thinking while I work here, but this is live time. This is what you do. You know, it's figure as you go, you know? So if we went and cut, say we stay a couple inches in here, because you want to keep this corner. You don't be fucking around with that, because you're going to have all kinds of trouble. Then we got to be below this trim line. Like down here, I see some guys cut right in there. I don't believe that's a good idea, so I'm going to cut like an inch below here. And that's got to be cut basically all the way around to the other side. And then we said to get this arch to here, I'm 21. But I'm afraid of cutting too much in the first shot. So I'm looking out here, I just had water delivered, so it's all good. So 21, you know, I think that's a good size for the window. I think I'm gonna go 20 inches. And if I wanna go a little more, I'll probably hate myself for it, because I should have just gone 21. I think I'm gonna go 20 inches and see what the roof line looks like. So I would cut from here, that outside, to here, "20 inches, here to here, 20 inches. So, need a better reference so everybody sees what's going on here. So what we'll wind up doing is cutting, see the arrow? There, there. And when I do this, I just did quickly for you guys on the video, but I'm gonna do a lot of measuring. I actually had a theory that I would take a piece of paper continuously and put it right over the top. Right? So I could make sure that that line straight across on both sides. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I was a cabinet maker. And so I did a lot of measuring in my life, and we had to measure down to the 32nd, you know what I mean? So I'm going to measure it all out. I'll tape it all out. I'll put reference arrows on everything. I'm going to get it ready. And our next video, I'm going to cut this roof off. The first thing I need to do is get these doors in place, and I'm going to tack them in place so they're in good shape. I think with the doors tacked on, I don't think I'm going to run steel across. I don't think you have to. The body's bolted to the frame. We're going to leave it right in place. Slide that forward. We're going to address any issues. Another issue we have is when I measure across here and here, I'm 1.5 inches narrower in the back. So once we get this up, I'll probably tack it on top, and then I'm going to have to figure out, it probably isn't going to be that bad. I'm going to have to get this pulled out a little bit. It's probably actually better when I cut it here. It's probably not as far apart. So that's like 54 up here, and this is 55. So the closer I come, this car is bowing out like, from the back, it's coming out, So I'm only have an inch. So that way, this has to go a ½ inch on both sides out, and I don't think that'll be an issue. We're not going to wind up with a crank up window in the back because we've taken all this mechanism for here. It's not going to work. So I can just put glass in, and that will work fine. And then the fronts will stay crank up. So again, once we get this pushed forward, welded in place, everything where it's supposed to be, at that point I'll decide if I want to take some height out of it. And another issue while we're on it, let me check the time here. I don't like to run my videos too long. We're at 35 minutes right now, not a big deal. Oh, pattern's gone. So paper, thick, heavy paper, a good thing to have around when you're doing patterns. And patterns don't have to be one perfect piece. They can be made up of several pieces of paper as you're trying to cut them in place. So patterns are very simplistic to make. So the other problem I have, I'm going to take the camera off the mount here. We have Rat Fink. He's not a problem. Get him off of here. See the doors? Yeah, it's out here. Then goes up. And it's in. It's wonky. I think they come out of the factory this way, because if you look at the other side, I don't know if they made it to the gold standard that we get things today. Unless they're paying $600 and not $60,000. So look at this one. I'm going to try to bend these the old-fashioned way using a flat bar, but I'm going to be careful. I'm not going to go crazy. But, my old Viking heritage, we got to horse it first and then do it the right way the second time. So that's it, guys. Couldn't be more excited. I'm glad you guys are all here for the ride, and we're gonna have a good time. I can't wait. I know a lot of guys who say, "Oh, it's original. It's all." I don't know if that motor's been replaced or not. It may not have. We don't know, but it's as original as we can get. And a lot of guys are like, "Oh, you should save it and make it. Just bring it back to what it is. Keep the patina and all that." I'm like, no. It's still going to be an ugly ass car, so why do that? I want something. I want a hot rod. I want to have it sound good. I want to get some nice tires. I still haven't made up my mind. If you look back here, now here's another option. Let's say we get this chopped and made into a pretty good looking coupe. Maybe lose the fenders front and back. Put the big fat white wall on the back and the smaller white wall on the front, and have it a good old street rod. So, don't know. I haven't made it. I've looked at this thing. I've sat outside, had a beer, and stared at it for hours, and I still haven't made up my mind. I did get the windshield working the other day, so that's my first piece on it. Get that going so the windshield works. And if we chop the top, we can still have that work. So all exciting stuff. So that's it for today. So thank you very much. Please, this is day one. We got a long way to go. We're going to be on this thing all winter. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a nice project for you to follow. Please share these videos. Hit the like button. It helps me out with YouTube. And please subscribe. That'd be great. So, hey, have some fun. If I don't see you, have a great Thanksgiving. It's only 7 days away. And we'll work on this through Christmas and the holidays and New Year's. And a good inside winter project for me. And that's that. So have a great day, great weekend, guys. Talk to you soon.